Hey, welcome back to the Weather Mike. How you doing? Episode 3. Promised you an update this evening after this morning's video, and here it is. So we'll start with the three models again with the snow depth now on the 12th, see how they differ a little bit, and then we'll run through the GFS real quick because there's been some changes. Kind of interesting. So let's jump in. The Canadian model looks like this for snowfall on January, between now and January 12th. So still lots of snow, West Virginia and Northern Virginia. We're talking a foot of snow here, give or take. Same for much of Pennsylvania, into northern New Jersey, into New York, into Connecticut, into Rhode Island, into Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. So a lot of snow. Meanwhile, the Plains storm has the focus on starting, well, we could start in eastern Colorado, so a good 8 to 10 inches there. And then as we move into Kansas, those amounts jump up to as high as 20 inches around Omaha south through Lincoln. If you look at the key at the bottom of your picture there, that's a good 16 to 20 inches according to that. And then, Iowa just covered with snow, anywhere from 8 to 20 inches. And then you get into Wisconsin, a nice coating as well, and then lesser amounts. Now we get into the Euro, and this has the least amounts of them all over. Still some good amounts, and I think we have a little more confidence in the East Coast storm. Although when we go through the GFS, we'll see it's a little bit further south, a little weaker. But we are showing still good amounts of snow for West Virginia, Northern Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio now. Some more snow on this one. And then New York also, and Connecticut, less for Massachusetts, a little bit, and a little bit less for Maine, and a lot less on our Plains storm. I mean, we're seeing more snow on this model, this particular model run, for the mountains of New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Utah, and up into the Pacific Northwest. The Plains, not as much, 6 to 10 inches for parts of Kansas maybe, but otherwise, 4 to 5, 4 to 6. Now you get into Iowa, there's a good swath of like 8 inches of snow, but for the most part, we're back 4 to 6 inches. And then a nice little swath through Wisconsin into the UP of Michigan, a good 8 to 12 inches of snow there, and also in Michigan and eastern Indiana, not to leave you out, because I almost did. And the Pacific Northwest on all three of these, the Cascades are just getting buried 4 feet of snow plus, which is good because you want that snowpack. And, it's an El Nino year. Typically, El Nino years later in the winter, the Pacific Northwest gets kind of warm and dry. So I don't know that that'll happen this year, but that's the normal trend. And so they'll take that snowpack now while they can get it. GFS has gone crazy in the plains, a little less for the Northeast, and we'll show you why. But we are seeing still good snows for West Virginia, Northern Virginia, into Pennsylvania. And then pretty good, too, Northern New York into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Northern Maine. Lesser amounts for Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts. Did I mention New Jersey? You're still getting snow. Yeah, good 8 to 10 inches. If this comes true. The Plains, just the bullseye right on top of me, eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, and that's 12 to 20 inches of snow. So we'll just round up 1 to 2 feet of snow if this comes true. And if the storm is as strong as it's been showing in the previous runs, could be blizzard conditions from eastern Colorado through Kansas into Nebraska and Iowa, and even another swath moving through Missouri, Illinois, right through Chicago into the northern half of Michigan, like Traverse City and Cadillac, and maybe even Grand Rapids, which is further south, but looks like a pretty good dump for you as well. So, yeah. Bottom line is, even though we don't know exactly where this plain storm especially is going to go, I'd say with some confidence that we're going to have a pretty big storm. We don't know the amounts yet, and we don't know the exact track, so that is going to make a big difference, and we are still a week away. A week a week and a day or two away even. So anyway, let's go to our model run. This is the latest run from the GFS. We're starting at 6 p.m. tonight, which is an hour from now. And we're already seeing showers in central Texas and moving into Louisiana, and then offshore Florida gets in on that, but it's a weakening low and it falls apart. Then our next system getting its act together, and some heavy rain for Houston all the way up through East Texas. Some snow on the top of this from parts of Arkansas. Yeah, maybe not too far from Tulsa, Oklahoma, into Kansas. We're looking at the 5th, the morning of the 5th here, 6 a.m. Central Time. Some light snow across the Intermountain West, a little bit of rain for Northern California. As we move through time, this low hugs the coast. Heavy rainfall moving through the south. As we get into the morning of the 6th, we're seeing a little bit of snow and ice now in the mountains of North Carolina and Virginia, and maybe a little bit into Tennessee, and then some snow for northern Kentucky, southern Indiana, and near Cincinnati, Ohio. And then as that storm continues to move up the coast, here's where we start to see our really heavy snow. And the storm starts to strengthen. All this is not as strong as it's been on the previous runs, but some good snows now moving in to Pennsylvania. We're looking at Delaware and Maryland as well, northern Virginia, and then New Jersey starting out, getting some snow here. This is the 6th in the afternoon and evening, and then it starts to move offshore. But let me go through that again. You can see some very strong winds here, maybe not a blizzard, but near the coast, depending on where the low goes. If the low is closer to the coast, we'll have rain on the coast. If it's further off the coast, we'll have more snow towards the coast. This right here, frozen at, what time is that? 9 p.m. on the 6th Central Time, so 10 o'clock Eastern. Heavy snow right now, New York City here, northern New Jersey, Long Island, and into Connecticut, and some pretty good winds too, and then that quickly moves off and ends the morning of the 7th. So on this run, a little bit less for the Northeast, but still a pretty good storm. On the backside, some colder air moving into the Great Lakes, light snow for Ohio and other places here in New England. Wisconsin seeing light snow, and our next storm enters the picture as we get into the evening of the 7th. We see that now back in New Mexico. This low is forming. Watch this snow. This is pretty close to Tucson, like I was pointing out before. Sierra Vista, you're probably going to get snow. Douglas, you too. Up in Payson for sure. I mean, that's what, 7,500 feet, something like that. So this is El Paso snow. The morning of the 8th. That's fun. All right, we'll keep moving. And then as the low begins to form and strengthen, we're going to see some snow maybe into the South Plains of West Texas. So Lubbock, maybe. I know you're hoping. Plainview, always a better chance of snow, right? And then up towards Amarillo and north, you're going to see stronger snow rates. There we go. Better snow rates. And look at these isobars getting close together. So this is going to be windy, blowing snow. And it's heavy snow from Iowa through Nebraska, down through western Kansas into the Texas Panhandle. This is 8 p.m., 6 o'clock. And, I have to drive kids from western Iowa to Omaha and then pick them up in the afternoon. I have a feeling there won't be school on Tuesday if this comes true. So again, lots of snow, lots of wind as we get into the 9th. And it's coming down, especially western Iowa and eastern Nebraska. Now, it was moving off to the east a little bit. We got a little blizzard going on in Kansas if this comes true. Same for Oklahoma, maybe moving into Oklahoma City. Out ahead of it, we have showers and storms and heavy rain, South Carolina and North Carolina, and very heavy snow now in central Illinois as well, and parts of Missouri. And so this storm, the way it's tracking, even though it's dumping a lot of snow early in the storm and blowing snow in Nebraska and Iowa, now we're seeing Missouri and eastern Kansas and Illinois and northern Indiana catching up. So South Bend, you're getting a dump here. Chicago, and very strong winds, even stronger winds on the backside though. I mean, I would not be surprised if these runs keep going like this. We might be looking at a blizzard. We'll have to hang in there and see. I don't want to, I get too excited when it's snow. Don't forget your grain of salt, and I'll try to remember mine. This is just a computer run, and we're still a week away, 8 days away. All right, but heavy snow coming down Chicagoland, northern Illinois, and then it exits into Michigan. This is a good dump of snow for Michigan, very strong winds. Meanwhile, rain along the East Coast, and some of that rain moving far enough north to rain on top of some of that heavy snow. So, watch out for flooding concerns there. We'll see how that pans out. And then our storm exits. And then just for fun, there's another storm behind that. Look at that. Showing rain and snow moving over to where we've had the heavy snow. Previous runs had that all snow, but that's way out in the distance. So we'll talk more about that as we get closer. So there you have it. The latest look of the GFS. The latest look of all three models on what we can expect for snow from these storms. We're still a week away before all of it's said and done. A lot's going to change. It will change. But we'll keep you posted as we go because it's fun to see the change and anticipate what might happen. And it's also good to know what the computer models are saying now so that we can spot consistency as we get closer. That's going to help us when we get closer to the event. Because I think the Northeast storm, we're pretty confident there will be one. We still have to work out the strength and the exact path. The Midwest storm, the Plains Midwest Great Lakes storm, more question marks with that one, especially with the track and the strength. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's kind of fun, isn't it? All right, we'll see what happens, and we'll keep you posted along the way. Thanks for tuning in to the Weather Mic, and we'll have another update for you tomorrow. Have a good night.